Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Please download Laboratory 3 notebook file from Blackboard, and then please use your JupyterLab to open it. I received several emails about the Anaconda Navigator. So some of you cannot, is having issues connecting. What do you mean by connecting? I'm not sure. It should open the local browser for you, not connecting. You don't need to sign up on any accounts. You can just use it. And I suggest you to use the JupyterLab, although the professor is using Jupyter Notebook, right? I think maybe JupyterLab is better because you can find the options to export, save and export notebooks as HTML files, and then you can export, you can convert them to, okay, yeah, for now, all right, because in the last semester, she's using the Jupyter Notebook, so I think he would like to use the Jupyter Notebook as well in this semester. I think then it's fine. I think JupyterLab has more options, right? Okay, so let's get started. And one more thing is, as we discussed in the last lab, we are going to start the class at 12:05, right? So I will give you extra 5 minutes to get internet access. Okay. All right. Please double click the first cell to input your last name, your first name, and your R number. Right. And please make sure to run the script here, the script to identify your host name, username, and current information. Then I will know you are running this notebook file on your own computer, and I can check some kernel information from your assignment. Then, and actually it will help you to debug some errors. All right. And then you see it says about your username and the kernel information about the Python programming. All right. And in lab 2, we learn how to define some variables and how to perform some arithmetic operations or some simple operations, right? And in today's class, we are going to learn some how to use Python programming to solve some real world problems. Okay, but actually it's a simple problem. So let's go over them one by one. The first one would be, first example is about how to calculate the sum of two numbers. You are required to define two integer numbers and then return their sum. Okay, so as you see in the cells, first you need to define two variables, right? To define two variables, and then you need to assign the numbers to these variables. And after that, you need to use another variable, as you see here is a result, to store the result, to store the value of their sum, right? The first line, define variables, and please make sure to use the correct names, right? You can use letters, numbers, and underscores, but the first character cannot be a number. Okay, so I suggest you to use some letters as the first character, as here, number 1, or you can use num1, right? So the second line is about how to define the second variables, and then define the result and print out the result. Okay, pretty clear. But you can also print out the expression. I mean, if you don't want to use another variables, you can just use this way. You can print out this expression, and then it will evaluate this expression and print out the result. Okay, so you see these two cells are exactly the same. The only difference is here you use another variable to store the result. Actually, it's better because maybe perhaps in the following cells, you need to use this variable, then it's better to define a specific variables to store this value, okay? So any questions so far? All right. Okay, next one is about how to calculate the product of two numbers. It's very similar. So you're required to give two integer numbers and then return their product, okay? So you see, the first two lines is about how to define two variables and assign some values on to these variables, and then use another variable to store the result and print out the result. Okay, so but you can also use this way. You can also use print and then expression. Okay. So it is about the first two simple examples. And if you have already understood the examples, then we need to finish these exercises, two exercises by yourself, okay? So please write the code by yourself, but I will give you some hints. Exercise 1, so you given two integer numbers and return their product only if the product is greater than 1,000, else return their sum, okay? And the first is the apply this principles problem solving in Python using the same operator link, the two examples above to complete the exercise. And so you please use this following inputs, case 1 and case 2, okay? So actually case 1, case 2, you can define you need to define two variables first, right? The first one would be 20 and 30, number 1 and number 2. Then you can, you can create another variable. You can call it a product, okay? And then it would be number 1 multiply number 2, right? And then after that, for now it's the same as the second example, right? But here you see there's one more condition. If the product is greater than 1,000, else return their sums, right? So here you need to check if product is greater than 1,000 or not, okay? And use if keywords. If product is greater than 1,000, and then press enter, then you see there's one indentation here, right? And then print product. And then after that, if it is not greater than the 1,000, then you print out the sum, right? You copy, but revise here is the plus, okay? Right, you see the result. Here's the first 3 lines is very easy to understand, right? So you define the variables and then you use another variables to store the product of these two numbers. But from if, here is about the some complicated syntax, right? So if it is true or not, right? So as you see, I will write some comments, but it's not required for your assignment, right? So I write this comments to help you to understand this code, okay? So for now, the product would be 600, right? It is, you need to compare 600 with 1,000, and then it is not true, it is false, right? And here, if you press enter, then there's the indentation, right? It is a difference between Python programming and C and C++ programming, right? So in C and C++ languages, they are using the curly brackets to control some code blocks. For example, if they're using the if keywords, then they will use curly brackets, then print the product, okay? But in Python programming, we use indentation to control that. If you see some indication here, indication is indications are some spaces at the beginning of one code line, right? So for example here, if you see indentation, it means this print product is controlled by this if statement. And if this condition is true, then it will perform this statement. And if it is false, then it will skip this line and find the next statement. It means else, and else means the false statement. And then it will print out the sum of these two numbers, right? That's why here you see the result, it will print 50, not 600, okay? All right, so any questions so far? All right, then let's see the second case. So it's very, very similar. Do you see the second would be the first number would be 40, and then the second number would be 30, okay? Please write, and you see for now it's different. It is 1200, and then it will be compared with 1000, then it is true, right? That's why here it will print this product directly and ignore the else statement. So it will print out the product, not this one. All right, it is about the second case. It's different. Okay, so please finish the first exercise, and please write the code on your own lab. And yeah, please make sure you have the same output with me. All right, the first one would be 50, and then second one would be 1200. All right, so let's see the second exercise. It's a little bit complicated. So actually, yeah, so here is write a program to check if the given number is a palindrome number. A palindrome number is a number that is the same after reverse. So for example, 545 is a palindrome number, right? So the key component is how to get a reverse number of original number, right? Actually, there are many ways to write this program to solve this problem. I will show you how to solve them in like mathematical ways, because like how to generate its reverse number in Python programming. Okay, so so first line, you need to define one number, right? You can define one number, and after that you use another number to make a copy of this number. So you see this value is exactly the same, and then you set the reverse to 0, and then you need to use this means reverse, right? And then you need to use another loop. You need to generate a loop. The loop means while number is greater than 0. Then I will write down the codes first, and then I will explain what does that mean. Okay, so you need to generate every digits. Okay, use a modulus, and then reverse, use a reverse, multiply 10, and then add the digits, and after that calculate the floor division, and after that, if this copy is equal to print out, it is a palindrome number, else print. Okay, so and let me write. Oh, sorry. Oh, number. It's number, not a number. Right. Okay, so you see the 545 is the palindrome number. So let me explain it on why it is a correct program to solve this question. The first one, you need to define this one, right? And then the second line is about make a copy to store the original number, okay? And the next one is about how to use one variable to store this reverse number, all right? And after that, you need to use a while loop. While loop means it is a loop. If this number is greater than 0, then it will perform all the statements inside this loop. And then after you perform all the statements, then it will determine the condition again. And if the number is equal to 0 or smaller than 0, then it will ignore the statement and continue to run the next code. Okay. So that's why here is for now you don't need to write anything. I'm writing the comments to help you to understand the codes. Okay. So you see, first one would be while it's about number is 545, and it is greater than 0, then it is true. Then it will begin the loop. Okay, begin the loop. And after that, you need to check the first element. So the first one would be and modulus 10, and then it is 5. So actually, I'm not sure if you still understand the floor division and the modulus operator. So if you see here, modulus, right? If you floor division is get the whole number, and the modulus is returns the remainder when x is divided by y, right? It's only the remainder, right? So that's why here we use the 545 modulus 10. It means divided by 10 and get the remainder, and it is exactly the last digits of this number, right? So that's why you get this number, and then it is the last digits of the original number, but you need to get it as the first digit number of your reverse number, right? That's why we need to get the last one by one, and then add it to the reverse number from the left order. Okay, and then after that, the reverse it would be 0 multiplied 10 and plus 5, then it is 5, right? And then last one would be the number gets the floor division. It means only actually the accurate number would be 54.5, but it's floor division. Then it will remove remove something behind the decimal point. Then it is 54, right? It's about the first loop, and then after you perform this statement, then it will come back to this condition again. So it will compare 54 is greater than 5. It is true, right? And then it is true. Then it will begin this loop again, right? And after that, let me copy it, okay? But for now, the number would be 54. Number would be 54. Then modulus 10, it is 4, right? And then reverse. For now, the reverse would be 5. Then multiply 10, and then plus 4. It means you remove the last digits and then put the digits in the left order of the reverse number. Okay, that's how you can generate the reverse number, right? In a mathematical way. So for now, it's 44, and then the number would be 54 floor division by 10, and then only only 5, right? Only 5, because for now it's 5.4, but you need to remove the last decimal point, then 4. After that, you check it again. 5 is still bigger than 0, then it is true, right? And then last digits 5 modules 10 actually is the 0.5, right? So 0, and then the remainder would be 5. So that's why the result would be 5. And then a reverse would be 54. So you see, for now it is 54, right? 54 multiply 10, and add the last digits is 5. Then the number will be, and it is 0.5. So that's why it is 0, right? And then at the last one, number is 0 is greater than 0. No, it's not correct, right? So it's false. Then it will jump out of the loop. Number should we use for the case of okay, so yeah, after I finish this one. That's why, okay, so for now you see this is a reverse number. For now you can get the reverse number, right? And then you can compare this. That's why we need to define a temporary temp, because it's a copy of the original number, right? So then you compare them and then find out it is the same or not, okay? And after that you can see. And for the case 2, actually you can select any number as you. I think you can select any number as you like, okay? Yeah, for me, I think maybe you can select maybe case 2. Case 2, you can select maybe this number, okay? 124, or and actually it's any number. Don't wait. 2 numbers. Need the numbers. Okay, you need to revise here, okay? Yeah, and then you can find out. And actually you see it is not a palindrome number. So you can choose any number which is not a palindrome number, okay? For example, you can choose this way. You can choose 124 and test your code, okay? Test your codes. Yeah, so it is about the it is about how to use the palindrome, how to use the mathematical way to calculate it is a palindrome or not. But actually, if you are interested, if you remember, we learned in the casting, right? Do you know that? Remember the casting? Changing types. You can use a string to do the casting. Actually, let me try. So for example, you can use the string number is you can use the string number and then string reverse to do the reverse, okay? So you can use this way to do the reverse, because for now it is a string, it is not a number. Then if you can check if string num is still same or not. I'm not sure it's correct or not, actually. I think it should work. It's not. Try. Okay, it's not. And okay, it's let me try. It's a palindrome. Okay, so let me try again. Okay, so actually you can also use this way, because in this way you are using the mathematical way, right? You are trying to generate the reverse number of the original number, right? But in this way you consider this number, because for now it is an integer, but you can use the string this type casting function to convert it as a string, and then you use this way to get the reverse of the string. Then you compare these two strings, okay? But actually, and the string can be considered as an array, but you for now you didn't learn array. Maybe in next week or the week after next week you will learn the array, and then you can use this way. Okay, but this only for I only provide us the second way, but maybe for now it's hard for you. Yeah, you don't need to understand it completely, and I will show you how to use the array and how to use the string in later labs, because they are very, very important. Okay, but for now you only provide either way. Okay, and here are some readings. You can read any documents from here. Actually, that's all I want to share today. If you have already finished this exercise, and please make sure to submit your work before the end of this Wednesday. All right. So if you don't have any other questions, please feel free to leave the meeting, and have a nice day. You post. Yes, actually, I forgot to answer your questions. And after discussion with the professor, I cannot post the recordings of each lab, because one reason is Blackboard doesn't have enough spaces for videos. We can only post like some small document. We cannot post many recordings of videos. And the second one, the professor asks you to guys to like attend the lab classes. You cannot rely on the recordings to solve the exercise or assignments. You need to understand it by yourself. So perhaps I will not post the recordings of the lab classes. All right. So, but if you have questions, please feel free to ask me via emails or via Teams. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, to use the second way, I can like, yeah, sure. It's okay. I think, yeah, you can use the second way, but I'm not sure you can understand it or not, but it's okay. Yeah. Over what to do on the mobile part. Because the first one looks more complicated. Yeah, really, I think the first one is more like the what you do in mathematical way. So I think the first one is simpler. Yeah, depends on you. You can use the second way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because the professor didn't talk about the first way in class, so it just looks
Okay.
weird.
Okay. Then it's good. Yeah, you can use the second way. It's
Okay.
it's shorter. It's a shorter, right?
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah. So today you need to only these two exercises, right? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So the first part is about you just need to revise the last name and the first name, and then run the first script. And after that, please only after that you can you need to run styles on your own computer, and then finish the last two exercises. That's okay. Go back to okay, sure. It's for the first exercise. Yeah. Thank you. So if you have some errors on your computer, you can just copy and paste your errors on the chat box, and can have a discussion to learn what's wrong. Yeah. All right, so if you don't have any other questions, I will end the meeting and see you on Wednesday. Okay, thank you guys. Have a nice day.